Dear friends, good morning on this Monday morning, beginning of a new week, a very special week. Today is Rosh Chodesh. Today is the first day of the marking the new month, even though it's the last day of this month of Sivan. And we are in our inspiration series number 75. Now this week, as we said yesterday, we're going to dedicate to the Rebbe and the much inspiration that the Rebbe had given us. The Rebbe taught us many things. The Rebbe inspired us in many ways, mostly through his actions, through his courage, his leadership, his teachings. And I'm going to try to highlight a few of them this week. And today I want to talk about education. The Rebbe emphasized education in a very unique way. Now we know Jews across the board take education seriously. Way before the rest of the world were educating their youth, way before they extolled education and knowledge as the most important thing or tool that you should have, this was a part of the Jewish experience. To educate ourselves, but more importantly, to educate our children, our youth, to make sure that we as parents, we as a community, give our children the fullest, broadest, deepest Jewish education, to connect each Jewish child, boy or girl, to their heritage. It is very, very difficult for someone when they haven't been educated with their Jewish heritage and roots to start on their own when they're older. Difficult, I say, but not impossible, as we have seen how hundreds of thousands, and perhaps even more, have returned to Judaism without having any education when they were younger, or a very peripheral education, and have come to Judaism and have become great members of the Jewish people in terms of observance, knowledge. Many have become teachers and rabbis in their own right. It's incredible to see, because at the end of the day, education doesn't only begin when you're young. At every day of our life, we have to educate ourselves, and any day of our life, we have to take responsibility for our knowledge and our heritage and our connection to it. But the Rebbe's emphasis was with some very practical things. Start educating young. Fill the house with Jewish books. Your children are reading stories. Fill them with Jewish stories. There are many books. It's beautiful to see a program that's across North America today, PJ Library, putting stories of Jewish values and ideas into everyone's home. This is what the Rebbe spoke about 50 years ago. Put it into Jewish storybooks. Then the Rebbe spoke about adults. Not only you should have a sitter. Many people after their parents pass away, they drop off by the synagogue a bag with a few sitters, a machzor for Rosh Hashanah, maybe a Chumash, or 5 books of Moses, maybe a Haggadah, and that's the entirety of the Jewish collection. Now, obviously, you need all of that, and it's important to have that. Then you should have a good sitter and a new sitter, not just one that you look at and you're scared to touch because it's going to fall apart. But get a new sitter with English translation or French translation or Spanish if you need, or Russian. It's all available. And a Chumash. Have those basics in your house. But that's not enough. Have much more than that. Build a Jewish library. Bring in books of Talmud, books of Jewish thought, Hasidic teachings, Mishnah, commentaries, responsa. There are tens of thousands of books that are coming out in all languages today that you can not only have them on your shelf, but read them and understand them, comprehend them. Fill your house with books. Education, if it's only in school, that's not education. That's just career building. People who learn in school only are just looking to get a career, whether it's a profession or whether it's in business, but that's all you want to get. That's not education. Education is like the Hebrew word chinuch comes from the word Chanukah, which means to dedicate as well. Education is about learning how to dedicate your life to something. Don't just learn a subject to be able to have a livelihood or to be able to have a position. Learn a subject to dedicate your life, because it's not a subject, it's a way of life. So we have to teach our children from when they're young. We're told when a child is 2, 3 years old, you start teaching them the Shema and then some blessings. At 3 years old, for a boy specifically, we cut their hair and we do a whole process at the beginning of education. It doesn't mean we don't do it for a girl. A girl, we do it even earlier. They're more mature than boys as they're growing up and even later on in life. So education is tangible. It's real. Not just how much tuition you paid to put your kid in a Jewish school, but it's actually how much you are giving your child about themselves. Every one of us, every one of our children being to the world have an incredible inheritance. It's our obligation to put forth to them their inheritance. They don't have to find out about it on their own when they're 25 or 30 or maybe a little younger in university and then question how come no one told it to them, how come no one shared with them what they have, how come people did not put it in front of their eyes. Now, often people do not have the ability to teach them. You give them to a school, you bring them to a place where they could be taught. But first, teach yourself so you can teach something to your children as well. So education is about adults learning and it's about children learning. And that was the Rebbe's biggest emphasis. And in 1973, a large delegation from UGAs across the tri-state area and beyond came to visit the Rebbe to talk about Jewish issues. And in the very long meeting that went on several hours and covered many areas, the Rebbe's underlying statement to these Jewish leaders at that time was education, education, education. Build Jewish schools, get Jewish children into Jewish environments, educate them in the Jewish way. Because if we don't do it when they're younger, it's a much bigger battle to get them involved when they're older. Unfortunately, many people didn't listen then. They didn't feel it was important. They felt maybe Israel, Holocaust are more important issues to talk about. Obviously, these are important and very important. And so is dealing with poverty. But if we want to have a Jewish tomorrow, the line that everyone says is Jewish continuity. It's education, education, education. It's never too late. To learn and to teach. You don't have to be a PhD to teach. You know Aleph, as the Rebbe always said, teach Aleph. You know Bet, teach Bet. Whatever you know, share with others. And whatever they know, learn from them. It's not a race, who knows more. It's our life, it's our heritage, it's our inheritance. Let's take full advantage of it. So the Rebbe inspired us to educate, and this is the best time when we're home, more time to ourselves. There's no venues to go to, there's no distractions. Educate yourself, read, learn. This is a time you'll never have again. So I want to wish you a good day, and start today thinking about how you will educate. And you know, the finish off the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rebbe Shalom Dober, once made a statement, very powerful statement. And he said, just like it's a mitzvah incumbent on every male and every father to put on tefillin every day, so too it's incumbent upon every parent to think about their child's education every day. It's not something we plan at the beginning of the year. We put them in school and we say adios until you graduate. Every day, think about your child's education, what you can do to make it better and stronger. So we love you all. Have a great day.